It's not an invasion, it's a musical. You've got the lights, you've got the action, but no camera. The WKU theater program's first show of the year promises to tug at the heartstrings. It presents itself as a spin-off to the Wonderland we all know and love. Alice by Heart debuts this weekend at the Russell Miller Theater in the Ivan Wilson Fine Arts Center.
I would say the rawness of it and the relatability. It's a very raw and heartfelt show. It has a lot of themes that are really relatable for a lot of people.
I think that its story and its meaning behind it is something that really can impact anybody.
Being one of 4 main stage shows the program puts on every year, Alice boasts plenty of talent. While a show of this magnitude warrants help from the professionals, you may be surprised to learn that the show is entirely student collaborated, behind the scenes and on stage.
It's been incredible. This group of people especially, we've just created such a close bond. Being able to build it up from the ground, especially with how little time we've had to rehearse, it's just been really, really rewarding.
I think that a lot of shows that I've been in have had sort of different messages and had different purposes for either cheering you up or making you happy and entertaining. And this show is super entertaining.
Alice by Heart will begin showing Saturday, September 28th. You can find tickets at wku.showware.com. They are $21, but students and senior citizens can receive a discount at checkout. For News Channel 12, I'm Alec Fouch. Government efficiency. A long-standing headache that the Trump administration looks to address. But how does one make the government more efficient, and how will this affect Kentuckians? United States Senator Rand Paul gives his thoughts.
All government really is inefficient. If I ask each of you for $1,000 and we're going to start a business together, you'd think about how many hours it took to work, and you'd be very conscious of giving me $1,000 because you had to work for that $1,000. But if you're a politician, I ask you for $1 million, it's like, it's not my money. And so they're not as good at overseeing the money because it's not their money. Ultimately, there's going to have to be an approval process. Everything DOJ says they're ultimately cutting, they're probably not going to be allowed to ultimately unless it comes back to Congress. The president collects all this waste and he says, we can do it for $100 billion less than Congress asked us to do it for. I think that's going to happen later this year. There may be a court challenge, whether he can impound it. If he loses a court challenge, I think he's going to have to send it back to us. I'm encouraging that to happen anyway. I think the people will be happier if it's not just done unilaterally, if there's a vote of Congress to send the money back.
The Trump administration has also sought to change the way the nation goes about trade. This is especially important in the exportation of goods like Kentucky bourbon, which is currently being restricted in Canada in response to tariffs enacted by the president.
Well, it's a retaliatory tariff. This is what happens in tariff wars. So they don't have an equivalent product, but if we're going to tariff lumber and steel they sell to us, they're going to tariff bourbon we sell to them. So the only way to get rid of retaliatory tariffs is don't retaliate first. Tariffs ultimately are a tax, and they do make prices higher.
Kentucky exported $43 million worth of whiskey to Canada in 2023. And according to the Kentucky Distillers Association, the 25% tariff on American-made products would have far-reaching consequences for the state and jeopardize growth in the industry for years to come. While the outcome of this action remains to be seen, Kentuckians can only hope that a trade war isn't bubbling with our northerly neighbors. In Bowling Green, for News Channel 12, I'm Alec Fouch. Computers. Everyone's got one. But are they really necessary for a quality education?
I think sometimes it's more efficient, like I can take notes maybe easier than I can having to flip through a bunch of pages and everything.
I feel like it's easier for me to take notes, and it's also easier to have the notes like right in front of your face, or the PowerPoint or whatever the teacher's teachers using, because sometimes you can't always see it.
A University of Alabama study showed that 65 to 75% of university undergrads admitted to cheating at least one time.
I'd say anywhere from 70 to 80%. Computers and phones as well are used as cheating tools nowadays, and that's not really beneficial towards students.
And many attribute these numbers to the amount of information modern technology provides.
If I have a question about anything, I can look it up very quickly.
Everything's more accessible on a computer. It's like things like ChatGPT and all those different things on the internet.
A 2024 survey conducted by the Digital Education Council found that 86% of students are already using artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT in their studies. This has left a divided response from professors on how to tackle this new age of cheating.
I have a few professors who do mind, and they just tell us to put it away while they're talking. But I think most of them understand that if people are on there doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, or they're not listening, at the end of the day, that's their grade, so they don't really care.
I don't think they do. They just kind of say, don't do it.
I guess just go back to paper and pencil. I mean, that was really just the hardest way to be able to cheat.
An ethical question that only time will be able to answer. For News Channel 12, I'm Alec Fouch. I'm Alec Fouch. I'm here in Centennial Mall asking students if they have a plan to vote in the upcoming presidential primary. Have you all ever voted before?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes, I have. No, I've not voted before.
Bro, are you going to be voting in the upcoming primary election?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
I will not.
And why do you think it's important to vote?
It's just our right as citizens of the United States.
Especially as young students, it's important for us to get our opinion just out, because a lot of the older generations, they're mainly the ones voting when really we're the ones being most affected by it in the long run.
I think it's good to vote simply because we have the right to, and we should take advantage of that right.
I think we should just take the opportunity because we don't get a lot of say.
Well, you're talking about the person who's going to run the country that you live in, so I think it's pretty much a given as to why it's important that you have a say in it.
I mean, you never know how small the margin could be in an election.
Because I don't really think it matters all too much. I think the candidates are already decided, so I think it's a waste of a vote, waste of time.
For News Channel 12, I'm Alec Fouch.